Today's tutorial is sponsored by Eyeball. Drink it, not sleep for about 4 days. Let's do it. Hello everyone, I'm Chris O'Hara, back for another tutorial. Today, as you can tell, is Redemption Song. Great song by Bob Marley. And we're going to dive right into that intro and get into the strumming parts, the chords, all that great stuff. You can see on the screen above, and when we do the strums, that you're going to see get all the rhythms and everything. So we're going to work through that. So here we go, right from the beginning. Here we go. We're going to start with this intro of the song. We're going to start with the 3rd fret. I'm going to pretty much be using my 2nd and 1st finger for this little location down here. Here we go. Everyone play with this with me on the 3rd fret, 6th string. That's the 1st note. And we play the next string down open, and then we play with our 1st finger, but on the 2nd fret right there, then back to 3. Here we go again. That's that 1st measure one more time. Whoops. Take 2. Don't do what I did that first time. There we go. 3, 0, 2, 3. Now let's work a little bit on how that rhythm works. It's going to sound like this. Just like that. And repeat that a few times. Here it is again. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, so that's that 1st measure. Then we're going to do the 2nd measure. It's going to sound like this. That one's nice because it's all quarter note pulse right there. It's going to sound like this. And that is on the 3rd fret, 5th string, 2nd fret, 4th string, to an open, to the 2nd fret, 5th string. So here we go again, 3, 2, 0, 2. And I'm saying the fret numbers. So 3, 2, 0, 2. Here's the first 2 measures. It's going to sound like this. Boo. Try that again. Let's loop that a couple times. Here we go. 3, 4, and again. Again. One more time. All right, good. Let's do the next 2 measures on this. It's going to sound like this. It's very similar, but a couple of different notes here. So that's the last 2 measures of the 1st phrase. So we're going to go like this. 3 again, 0 just like before, 2. Then we're going to jump down to the 4th string open, back to 2 on the 5th string, then 3 on the 5th string, then 0, 3. Now I'm going to play it real slow. Try to follow along with me. I'll say the frets as I go. 3, 0, 2, 0, 2, 3, 0, 3. One more time. Pretty simple. I'm using all down for this whole intro. Now let's try to do that more with the right rhythm on it. So it's going to sound like this. Maybe I'll slow it down just a little bit. Here we go. do that again. One more time, and whoops, again for me. Good. Let's do that whole line from the beginning. Here we go. Here we go. 3, 4, and not too bad. Now the next 4 measures is pretty much identical, with the exception of the little ending part. It's going to sound like this. So the last 2 measures of the intro sounds like this. So you can hear that slight variation. The last couple measures of the first phrase was like this again. But he changes it to this. Slight variation, but here we go. 3, just like before, 0 on the 5th string, 2 on the 5th string, 0 on the 4. Then we have this 3, 2, 0 on the 5th string to a 3 on the 6. Here it is. See if you can play along with me. It's going to sound like this. Do, 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 da, da. We'll do that again, maybe a little bit slower. Do, do, da, boom. One more time. Good. Now let's get into this strum pattern here. So take a look at we have 3 lines on the screen right there. So the top line is the rhythm of the song. The second line is just a basic quarter note pulse that we're going to actually start with. And then the last line is an 8th note pulse. It's good to kind of practice with these chords. So we're actually going to start with the middle line, then we'll go to the last line, and then we'll actually do the rhythm of the song, which is the top line. Here we go, second line. So what we're going to do, before we do all this, we got to learn the chords. So what are the chords? They are G, and the way I'm playing this G, and I think I kind of was listening to it, and it sounds like he's doing this version of it, which is the G looks like this instead of, this is your typical G. I usually play it with 2 fingers here, which you can. It's very, very subtle, the difference between this G and this G here. The only difference is I'm playing on this second version, I'm playing my 3rd finger here, this is the one I think he's playing. You could also use your 4th finger here if you want. Either one works fine. You can do that. You could even use the 2-finger G. Doesn't really make any difference. But just so you know, I'm pretty sure he's using, this version of it, which is without the 4th finger there. Okay, so that's the first chord. Second chord here, E minor. You guys should all know these chords. If you don't, I'm gonna be disappointed. I'm gonna come over to your house and force you to learn these chords. So here's that E minor, C. That's the next chord. This one you may not know, which is this G/B. And I'm just playing the middle 4 strings on that chord. You could add your 4th finger here and play all the way like that if you wanted to. Why is it called a G/B? Well, it's basically a G chord. The /B part tells us that B should be the lowest note. In this case, when we strum this shape, whether we're playing the middle 4 strings or adding our 4th finger and playing that 1st string here, it doesn't matter because the lowest note is still the same, which is the B on this 5th string. That's a B right there. That's where this guy is right here. If we played a normal G, then the G is in the lowest. And we don't notate it, we don't go G/G, it's just kind of redundant in a way. But if we want to make a different change to it, like this this B right here, then we want to notate that in the music. Okay, then we go to a minor chord. You guys should all know that one. So the reason why he uses that G/B is it creates this kind of nice root, or I should say bass movement, down to the A minor from the C. Here's the C, G/B, A minor. If you use the G, it would sound like the normal G in that section. It would sound like this. verses, we get this nice, what we call descending bass line, like that. Sounds kind of cool. It's a nice little variation right there. All right, so you got the chords down. Let's strum them. We're going to strum them 4 times each. This is again the second line on the rhythm that you can see on the screen there. Here we go. So we're going to start with our G. I'm going to count us in. We're going to go nice and slow and play along with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now C for 2 strums to that G/B for 2, to A minor, 2, 3, 4, back to G, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 2, 3. We're going to come up on a C now. C to a G/B now for 2 strums. To an A minor for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to beginning. G, 2, 3. To E minor now. 2, 3. C now. Good. 2 and G/B. To an A minor, 2, 3, 4. Good. That's a good starting point to get the kind of flow of these chords. Now let's try it with the down up, because the actual strumming pattern of the song incorporates both quarter notes and eighth note. That's why we're kind of going over these 2 layers. So here we go. Same chord sequence, but now we're going to be doing eighth notes, which is down, up, down, up. And if you can, get that foot going. Like that, get that foot tapping. We're going to be tapping on the downbeats. And another way of knowing where the downbeats are is that's where all the numbers of the count is. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3, that kind of thing. So here we go. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and that kind of rhythm with each chord. It's going to be still 4 counts per measure. Here we go. 3 and 4, ready, play, and 1 and 2. Minor, 2 and 3 and 4, to a C, to a G/B, to an A minor, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Good. I'm sure you guys are rocking that. So here we go. Now let's get into the actual strum pattern, all right? So the strum pattern is, like I said before, it's a combination of quarter notes and eighth notes. So take a look at that top line on that page. We're going to go to a G again. And the strum pattern is like this. As you can see by the markings there, it's going to be down, down, up, up, down. Just like this. Does not change chords. Let's just stay on the G and work on that rhythm. We'll go real slow. So ready, and play this with me. Ready, and down, down, up. And then I miss coming down to get myself ready for the next up, and then a down. So the count would sound like this. 1, I miss coming up, and then I do down, up, miss, down. So actually, let me actually add that count now. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So there's what we call a tie in there. So from the and of 2 all the way till the end of 3 is when we actually hold that tie down. So let me do a little bit faster so you can kind of hear how that rhythmic phrase sounds. Here we go. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Again, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, and 1, 2 what's important about this is keeping that right hand moving. That'll help you get the right rhythm. And even if you hit the strings when you're not supposed to, if you're keeping that right hand going, then it's still a good rhythm. It's not the rhythm of the song, which is fine, but at least it's in that structure of eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that kind of thing. So just make sure that you keep that right hand moving, all right? Let's now try to play that rhythm with the other chords. Now, I will add this. When we get to the C and the G/B, we're going to keep it simple because he does that in the song. He just goes twice down for each one of those chords. So from the C to a G/B, just down, and then we're back into the strum pattern. So here we go. Let's go really, really slow and see if we can get all those chord changes. Here we go. It's going to be like this. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now A minor, we go back to that strum pattern. 3 and 4. Back to G. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and just down here, down, G/B, down to an A minor, back to the strum pattern. 3 and 4. Okay, so that rhythm stays pretty consistent, other than on that C and G/B chord. Now, how the form of the song goes, what I mean by form, like verse, chorus, that kind of stuff, it goes like this. It starts off with the verse, and then we go into that line of the verse goes G, E minor, C, G/B, A minor, what we just did, and that repeats 3 times, okay? Now, on the 4th time, it changes slightly. It starts off the same, so we go G, we do the E minor, just like before, and then we go C, but we stay on C, and we play that strum pattern to a D, and we do D again. Okay, so let me just go over that again so you know. So again, that G, E minor, C, G/B to an A minor, what we started off with is repeated 3 times. The next time we just play a G, E minor, C, D, and D. Each one of those is going to be a measure apiece, or that full strum pattern for each one of those chords, with the D being twice, okay? So let me play that a little bit more up to speed so you can kind of, again, see what I'm doing here. So this, again, is the 4th time through. Then we get into the chorus. Now the chorus is going to be a G. Then we go to, and that's a whole measure, so that gets that whole strum pattern. And then we get a C chord and a D chord. And it's going to be like this. So what I'm doing on the C and the D, I'm going like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Just like that. So let me do that again on the C. Down, down, up, D. The G is still the same. So the start of the chorus is going to go like this. It's going to repeat that phrase of G, C, and D twice. So we get... Here's a little trick that I do sometimes, and I see other people do it too, so I think it's okay trick to do, and that is to actually lift up your hands during the strum and playing the open strings to get to the next chord. So when we go from C to D, it's a good technique because it moves really fast. So here it is what it looks like and sounds like slowed down. But when it's fast, you don't really notice it sounds like this. Okay, so again, we do that a total of 2 times. So we go G, C, D, G, C, D, and then we go to E minor to a C, D. Then we go back to that pattern again, G to G, to a C, to a D, to a G, to a C, to a D. All right, so it's pretty simple. Let me go over that one more time. So 2 times we go G, C, D, right? So that's twice through those chords. And we go E minor, C, D, G, C, D, G, C, D. Pretty simple, all right? Now, and then it repeats back to the verse. So we already covered that, so we don't need to do that again. Then it goes back to the chorus, which we don't need to do because we've already done that. Then after the chorus, okay, we go to a bridge. And the kind of leading into the bridge, we have one more time on that G to a C and D like this. And then when we go to the bridge, it's E minor. And it's just an 8th note, so we're just going 1, 2, 3, 4. He uses a little bit of this kind of palm mute, and I'm kind of hitting my palm on this part of the guitar. That kind of thing. And then we're going to go C. A lot of this kind of chunking along with the beat, like the. So, just trying to keep that 8th note pattern through that. So the E minor to C to D, that progression, that phrase repeats a total of four times. So here it is again. So there you go. All right, so try that with me. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and E chord. C, D, E minor, C. He's not singing in this part, it's just instrumental. One more time. After he does the bridge now, he goes back to the verse. This is like the 3rd verse. And then he does the chorus again. Pretty simple. We've already done the chorus. And then he goes into the ending, all right? So the ending, let me actually make one side note. There is a slight change. On the last chorus, there's a spot where he changes a G to an E minor. So let me show you where that is. So last chorus, just like all the other choruses, is going to go like this. It's going to start off the same G to a C to a D, and it repeats that G to a C to a D, then it goes to E minor, C to a D to a G, C. Now here's where it changes. Before it went to a G there, but now he goes to an E minor. C, D. That's the only change that he does there. So after that last D, he's going to go, for the ending, he's going to go to E minor, to a C, to a D, to a G, to a C, to a D, to a G, to a C, to a G/B, to an A minor, stays on A minor, down to a D7. It looks like this. It looks like a kind of a backwards D. So we got this D7. And then he's going to go for almost 2 measures on the D7. And then he stops it like that. He kind of ends it on, I believe, on beat 3. So it's like D7, 1, 2, 3, just like that. So hopefully that makes sense. So you got the rhythm and you got all the chords on that. And let me just kind of repeat the form of that. Intro, verse, chorus, back to the verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, and then ending. Well, thanks for watching this video on redemption songs. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I will see you guys and gals in the next tutorial.